If your Mandalorian friend was here, she could explain it to you.
As we hear Maul tell Ezra, there is some sort of connection between the Mandalorians and this Darksaber. Hi, I'm Drew Kaplan, Star Wars Maven. I'm very excited to talk about what are the connections between the Mandalorians and the Darksaber, at least as we've seen them on screen in Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels, and of course, we're going to get to the Mandalorian at some point, what's going on, but this is a good backdrop. In Star Wars Rebels, we see Fenn Rau giving a background to Kanan about what this Darksaber is and its significance.
It is the Darksaber, a symbol for the leader of House Vizsla, and later the group known as Death Watch.
And this largely works off of and works really well with the very first time we ever see the Darksaber appear on screen, which appears in Star Wars The Clone Wars with this monologue by Pre Vizsla, who is the head of Death Watch.
This lightsaber was stolen from your Jedi temple by my ancestors during the fall of the Old Republic. Since then, many Jedi have died upon its blade.
Now, this is a nice start, although we get a really cool origin story by Fenn Rau in Star Wars Rebels.
Legend tells that it was created over 1,000 years ago by Tar Vizsla, the first Mandalorian ever inducted into the Jedi Order. After his passing, the Jedi kept the saber in their temple. That was until members of House Vizsla snuck in and liberated it. They used the saber to unify the people and strike down those who would oppose them. At one time, they ruled all of Mandalore wielding this blade. This saber is an important symbol to that house and respected by the other clans.
Amazing. I love that. That was such an awesome origin story. First of all, even forgetting the story itself, the storytelling, the visuals was a really well done piece of that clip in Star Wars Rebels. And it is a really neat origin story and in twofold. Like, on the one hand, it was not something independently developed by Mandalorians, but it was done by this Mandalorian Jedi. And then it was also relieved or thieved out of the Jedi Temple, which is also like a really cool thing to visualize. And then on top of that, it's been maintained for who knows how long since the fall of the whenever that was that happened, that they still are keeping it within the family, right? This Clan Vizsla has maintained it through all those generations. Really fascinating. So there is an aspect of whomever holds the Darksaber, whomever wields it, has a certain power. It's certainly symbolic. Yet, as Sabine Wren speaks to her mother Ursa, it's not so simple.
Anyone can hold the Darksaber. The trick is keeping it, along with your head.
And furthermore, something else that Ursa tells Sabine is she really questions, now it's not clear from what we see on screen in Star Wars Rebels, when Ursa questions how Sabine got it. Sabine says she got it from Maul. Ursa says, did you get it in battle? She said, no. So Ursa's not happy with that. It's not clear whether that's a rule, like a hard and fast rule, that you need to win it in combat versus someone, as opposed to just they left it laying on the floor of their cave, their lair. Not clear. But one thing that is interesting as far as who can wield it and who can have power with this Darksaber, do they need to be Mandalorian? We do see in Star Wars The Clone Wars.
I claim this sword, and my rightful place as leader of Death Watch.
Never! No outsider will ever rule Mandalore.
If you will not join me, you will all die.
Clearly, Bo-Katan is not happy, and she then leads her own little revolt. I want to say a revolt, but certainly a breakaway group. Not happy. It needs to be a Mandalorian. No outsider is supposed to rule Mandalore, which is an interesting concept. And certainly for Mandalorians, I get the sense that they are fairly stubborn, and that's not going to fly with them. But some of them say, look, whomever wields it, they get to at least be the head of Death Watch. It doesn't necessarily need to be all of Mandalore, but certainly for Death Watch. We do see, speaking of Bo-Katan, we do see Sabine Wren handing off the Darksaber to Bo-Katan, not in battle, just handing it off to her, and many different clans pledging their fealty to her and saying, we're going to follow you. That it has this deeply symbolic aspect. And I think that's probably the most important part of this Darksaber, yes, there is an actual physical power. It is actually a weapon. There also is that aspect of someone clearly strong wields it. Whomever defeats them in battle clearly is someone more powerful, and the Mandalorians care about power and weapons, and that's big for them. And what better way to represent that than through a particular weapon? So there's that interesting connection between Mandalorians and the Darksaber. I do want to point out one other thing, which is, in addition to the symbolism, what actually is, like, physically, how does it work?
The sword is old, heavy, but powerful.
I find that so fascinating. Kanan saying it's old, it's heavy, which is really fascinating. Kanan clearly has had experience with a variety of lightsabers, and this one certainly is even already distinct to some degree, even just in the feel and the ancientness of it, which is really cool to hear Kanan himself say. I hope this was helpful in getting a sense of an appreciation of what the connection is between Mandalorians, the Darksaber, and what's going on there. So thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.